Hi guys, Sunday blessings. I'm just very quickly coming on to do this week's Sunday Tarot and Oracle review video for you all. I'm shortly going to be going off down to Martok because I have a full-on day of readings in Katrina's hair salon. So I'm really excited to be going back to sort of old, go back to Martok where I used to live. So that's going to be really interesting. But the deck I thought I would quickly come on and review for you today is the Making Magick Oracle by Pristess Moon. Now we have seen this version in the smaller context. So you've seen me sort of review this deck in the small sort of version, but I was very kindly gifted a while ago the bigger size version from a beautiful witch and friend of mine. So I thought, do you know what, I will quickly show you this because why not? It's nice to sort of see the difference between both versions. The cool deck, the little deck, I always work with this. I use it a lot, so that's really lovely to have. But it's really lovely to have the bigger version. So it's created by Rockpool Publishings. Now we have seen a few of their decks before. Obviously I feel what's happened here is they brought the initial deck out and then perhaps that's done really well and it's allowed them to sort of free up some finances to create a sort of, you know, a bigger version, or perhaps the original version they maybe wanted to create in the first place, which I feel is perhaps what this actually is. So gorgeous lovely box as you open it up, and then you go straight into the book, which we'll have a little look at. So the book is cool, it's coloured, so all this gold gilding, lovely thick book there. So we'll have a little look at that in a bit more detail shortly, but that's really nice, that's really cool. And then the cards themselves, they just sit very kind of lovely within this box. So I'm going to pull those out for you. And they're circular cards, which we don't see too many circular cards nowadays. You see the odd one or two, but it's quite rare to see circular cards. So I think this is nice. These are really cool to use in readings, spell casting, if you wanted to use them on your altar. And what the cards actually look like, you have obviously the symbol itself, you have the name of it, and then you have a brief description along the bottom. So like this one is the Trinkia 5, and it just says they're manifesting money and income. So that would be what you would draw or you'd use either in spellcraft or magic, or like I say, on your altar, or however you want to work with it. So they're quite interesting. Obviously this deck is not the prettiest, they're not necessarily pretty cards, they're practical cards, but I will quickly sort of show them to you so you can see all the symbols. Earth, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I haven't talked about the stock quality. Medium, they're not the thinnest, they're not the thickest, they're a medium size, so they're quite good actually. Thicker than I was expecting them to be, so that's really cool. You've got the fire, you've got the air. Okay, so you can really sort of see these symbols a lot kind of bigger, because that's sometimes what people were saying for the smaller deck. When I used to sort of send pictures to people, they'd be like, well, I can't actually see how to draw the symbol, or I can't fully see the symbol. But on these bad boys, because it's the size of a CD, you definitely kind of can. So that's quite cool, I quite like that. Particularly where you've got quite intricate ones like this, for instance, which is not the most straightforward symbol to be drawing. So, like I say, this is a sort of not the most pretty deck, but it's a practical deck. But you could easily sort of use this in sort of magic. If you were doing sort of ritual work, these would be great to use, and you could literally, depending where you're doing it, you could sort of place these down in different sort of parts of your sort of ritual and everything. So I think that they're really cool actually. Nice little addition to have here. I'm going to probably show you all of these because, you know, why not? I'm going to see if I don't know if we've got some new ones or if they're the same. Just trying to see, yeah, that's 40 cards. Does it say if these are 40 cards as well? These are actually only 36. Oh, that's interesting. So there's actually slightly less cards in this deck. I was going to say, but some of them have changed, like Dragonfly. That's a new one. That isn't in this one. I've seen that's different. So there's a couple of different ones, so they've fine-tuned what they perhaps want to use, which is cool. It's fine, it's not a problem. Yeah, there's definitely a couple that are new that I haven't seen in the previous one. So that's cool. Okay. I might show you like a couple more. I don't know if I'll show you all of these because, again, you're probably looking at these thinking, well, this is just a symbol at the moment. Unless you're using it in a reading or in magic or healing, it's not necessarily going to mean that much to you. But they are very powerful. I've used these symbols a lot in the smaller deck, and I've got to say, when I've needed a boost, wow, has it kind of come my way. It's really sort of helped me with the things that I've needed. So that's really interesting. Oops, sorry, that's a healing, that one. Okay, I think I'll leave the last couple just as a little surprise in case you wish to treat yourself. Now, as we look at the book, I'm just going to sort of see what the book has to say and has to offer. You have your traditional sort of introduction, which is fine. What is quite nice here, there's quite a lot of talk on sort of history of where some of this stuff comes from, like the symbols and everything. There's particular sort of grids and sort of, you know, readings you can do. And then we're pretty much straight into the cards. And what's nice with the cards is you've got a lovely, like I say, picture on this side, which is colour. And then the card meaning itself, you have the symbol history, so where the symbol kind of came from. Then you have divination, so that's the kind of, I suppose, the message really. And then you have a section, manifest your dreams, and that's just sort of giving you a little bit extra of how you can work with that symbol in the sort of desired or required area. So that's pretty cool. And then what is nice is I've just seen at the back we have Pristess Moon, and she's based in Western Australia. So that's pretty cool that she's there. I don't know if you can see her too well. So that's nice to have a little bit of spiel about her. So the book is really cool actually. That's really nice. I like that. So what we'll do then, always quite hard to shuffle circle cards, I will say. But we'll channel the cards for this Sunday for the highest of good. Definitely a little bit weird shuffling these. They're not my favourite to shuffle when they're circle because they just, I don't know, they have quite a different sort of feel. Some people love them. For me, they're a bit, I understand why they're circular, but yeah, I'm not sure about that. And also, if I'm being really fussy, because there's so much lovely kind of gold sort of, you know, edging there, it kind of would have been nice to have like gold sort of finish on the sides, like, you know, the edging. That's just a little bit of me being really picky and fussy if I had to critique it, but I think that would have slightly made it look a little bit more special and finished it off slightly. It's the only little thing I will say that lets it down a little bit. Okay, so I'm asking the cards to show us for this Sunday what we need to know about, oops, okay, that definitely sort of flew itself at me, as they tend to do. So we have got triple spiral, and it just says here, listening to divine wisdom and joyfully learning life's lessons. This is really interesting. I was saying this to a friend the other day, that when I do readings, very often when I'm reading for people, even though I'm giving them information and I'm channeling stuff, I always take something from a reading. You know, I usually take a sort of a teaching, a lesson, a learning of some kind for myself. There's, you know, not saying always, but 9 times out of 10. So that's quite interesting with me on a personal level. We're about to do a day of readings, and yeah, maybe with everything else going on at the moment. So we'll sort of see what this has to sort of say. Nicely, these are numbered. So when you look in the book, you can easily find the number. I like that of what we're looking at here. So let's just see, number 11, which this is under the section of ancient symbols. Okay, so they're sort of broken down into sections. So it just says here then, the triple spiral, listening to divine wisdom and joyfully learning life's lessons. The symbol history. The triple spiral symbol was discovered in a 5,000-year-old Neolithic tomb, the ancient temple of Newgrange, and then there's a word that I can't even say there, Brunei Bunny, in Country Meth, Ireland. The symbol is carved into a huge rock at the end of this passing tomb. On the winter solstice, which is very much coming up on Tuesday, around 21st December, the sun illuminates the passage and chamber in a spectacle feat of Stone Age engineering. This illumination was thought to be a metaphor for victory over death. So this is also maybe why this is coming in, with the winter solstice literally around the corner. The triple spiral has been mistakenly identified as Celtic, but this glyph predates the Celts by thousands of years. The Celts did employ the symbol in their artwork, however, and in the 5th century, with the rise of Celtic Christianity, the triple spiral was commandeered to represent the Holy Trinity of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So that's the history, and then we've got the divination part. The triple spiral symbol represents the full cycle of human life, birth, death, and reincarnation, and the triumph of spirit over body. It represents the divine in all of us and the cycles of life we go through as we journey from youth to maturity to wisdom. The triple spiral symbol is sometimes known as the triple goddess. And then it's just got there, see page 24 to see the triple goddess symbol. And then it's got manifest your dreams. In the short time we are here on earth, we learn many lessons and receive many gifts that we bring with us into the afterlife. Mystical texts state that if we learn a skill or a truth on earth, we carry this knowledge with us into the next life. Work with this symbol to truly understand the life lessons you came here to learn, and decide to learn them joyfully and with grace and comfort. Now that's really interesting, because for readings I am getting a lot of people at the moment saying to me they're not sure of their life path, they're not sure of their life's purpose, and because in some cases with like the pandemic things have been restricted or hindered or taken away from people, it's actually in some ways made people lose their identity a little bit and lose their purpose. So if you're feeling like that, you would benefit from sort of drawing this symbol on something, either your heart center, physically on a piece of paper, maybe drawing it down and then holding it when you meditate. If you've got like a palm stone or quite a big crystal, you could paint or carve it onto that. So that might be quite interesting to do. So an interesting message for us there for this Sunday and for the week ahead. And I think as well, very, very powerful with the energy of winter solstice coming in. It makes complete sense to why that's there. And also for a lot of us at the moment, we are starting to close off from our businesses. Some of us are starting to sort of think about closing down over the Christmas period and everything else. And as we come to the end of December time, it is the conclusion and the sort of wrappings up of this year and what is to follow, you know, for the future. So that's interesting in a number of ways actually. So I quite like that. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to come out at all. I thought there was going to be something completely different, but that makes to me, and hopefully to you guys, complete sense. So that's pretty cool. I quite like that. So I think overall this deck, I love the little version, I have to say, and that's always been a 10 for me. This bigger deck I think is probably an 8 or a 9. It's still cool, it's still good. I love the fact that there was a lot more information with the book here, because you don't get that with this little deck. So I think it's worth having this to have the book if nothing else. So that's pretty cool as well. So yeah, I think an 8 or a 9 really. It's a really, really lovely deck to have. Definitely worth having in the collection, and don't be put off getting it if you've got the little deck. I don't think it takes anything away from, you know, the magic of this. If anything, I think it's an enhancement. So it's nice to have that actually. So it's the Making Magic Oracle by Pristess Moon. Gonna leave it with you. Hope it resonates. Stay safe, stay well, have an awesome week ahead, guys. Because we mentioned the winter solstice, a cheeky little shout out. Don't forget, on Tuesday I'll be doing my winter solstice Zoom demonstration of mediumship. Tickets are £10. There's still a few spaces left, so if you'd like to come along and if you'd like to be involved, you never know, you may get a message from a loved one in spirit. So you can book those via my website if you wish to come along. It starts at 7:30 and ends around 9 o'clock. So take care, have an awesome weekend and an awesome day, whatever you get up to, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Much love, bye for now.